Toy Story 2: A Wild Ride. Woody the cowboy doll watched his friends leave through the air vent. They'd come to bring him home. A man named Al had stolen Woody to sell him and the rest of the Roundup gang, Jessie the cowgirl, Bullseye the horse, and the prospector, to a museum in Japan. Woody was ready to go. He was afraid that if he went home, Andy would grow up and forget about him. But his friends didn't understand. Suddenly, Woody realized that he couldn't stop Andy from growing up. But he didn't want to miss seeing it either. "Buzz, wait, I'm coming with you," Woody shouted. Woody turned to his new friends and urged them to come with him. But the prospector blocked the vent. "No hand-me-down cowboy doll is gonna screw it up for me now," the prospector said. He didn't want Woody to leave. Without Woody, they couldn't be sold to the museum. Just then, the toys heard footsteps approaching. They quickly moved back to their places. Al hurried into the room and packed the Roundup gang in his suitcase. Then he ran out the door. He was late for his flight to Japan. He wanted to sell the toys as quickly as possible. Andy's toys and the new Buzz Lightyear they had met on the search for Woody all watched in panic from inside the vent. "Quick, to the elevator!" shouted the real Buzz, hoping to catch Al. But when they got there, an evil Emperor Zurg toy stood on the elevator roof. Zurg was Buzz Lightyear's enemy. He had seen the real Buzz escape from Al's toy barn and followed him to the apartment building. Zurg attacked with his blaster, and the new Buzz fired back with his laser. Rex was too scared to watch. As the dinosaur turned away, his tail accidentally knocked Zurg off the elevator roof. With Zurg out of the way, the toys lifted the elevator roof. Al was impatiently waiting to get to the ground floor. "Come on," he muttered. "Come on, come on." Buzz held on to Slinky's legs, and Slinky stretched down to Al's case to undo the latches. Woody popped out of the case and grabbed hold of Slinky's paw. Just as Slinky Dog started to pull Woody up, the prospector grabbed Woody's arm tightly and yanked him back inside the case. Ding! "Ah, finally!" Al exclaimed as the elevator reached the ground floor. As the door slid open, the prospector shoved Woody back in the case. Al hurried out of the elevator and ran outside. Inside the elevator, Andy's toys dropped down from the roof. They watched Al leave. Then the toys ran to the doors, squeezing through them just before they closed. By the time Andy's toys were outside, Al had already driven off. They spotted a Pizza Planet delivery truck and the door was open. The new Buzz went back to Al's toy barn, but everyone else hopped into the truck. Buzz took control of the wheel. "Slink, you take the pedals," he said. "Rex, you navigate." Rex stood on the dashboard and looked for Al's car. "He's at the red light," he suddenly shouted. "We can catch him." Three squeeze toy aliens hung from the rearview mirror. When the car wouldn't move, they said, "Use the wand of power." Ham pushed the gears and the truck sped off. "Rex, which way?" asked Buzz. "Right," said Rex. "I mean left." "No, right." "You're right." They swerved through traffic and followed Al all the way to the airport. At the airport, the toys didn't know how they get through the crowd without anyone seeing them. Then Buzz spotted a pet carrier. The toys piled inside, sticking their legs through the small openings in the bottom so they could walk. "Ah, someone's coming!" cried Rex. It was a little girl. "Ooh, a puppy!" she squealed. Slinky Dog barked a few times to scare her off. Buzz gave Slinky a thumbs up. The barking had worked. At the counter, Al was arguing with the ticket agent. "I am not checking it," he told the agent. He didn't want to lose sight of the suitcase with the Roundup Gang toys. But he finally gave in. The ticket agent took the suitcase. Still in the pet carrier, Andy's toys followed the green suitcase into the baggage area. The toys gasped. There were hundreds of suitcases moving in all different directions. How would they ever find Woody? "There's the case!" yelled Slinky. "No, there's the case," said Ham, spotting another green one that looked exactly the same. The toys split up. When Buzz opened the suitcase, the prospector jumped up and punched him. "Hey, no one does that to my friend," Woody yelled at the prospector. Woody grabbed him and the two started fighting. Woody's arm was torn in the same spot it had been earlier. Al had stitched him up so he'd be in perfect shape for the museum. Buzz raced to the rescue. Woody looked at the prospector and grinned. "I think it's about time you learned the true meaning of playtime," he said. Then Woody and Buzz strapped the prospector to a pink backpack. He moved out of the baggage area and the little girl picked him up. "Oh, a big, ugly man doll," said the girl. "He needs a makeover." The prospector was scared. "I've got to get out of here," he said. But it was no use. Back inside the baggage area, Bullseye had freed himself from the green case, but Jessie was stuck. "Woody, help!" she cried. The toys watched as the case was loaded onto a cart. Woody and Buzz jumped on Bullseye's back. "Ride like the wind, Bullseye!" Woody shouted. They raced after the cart. Woody scrambled onto the cart, but it was too late. The green case was already being loaded onto a plane. Woody jumped into another bag so that he could get on that plane. He had to save Jessie. Once he was on board, Woody jumped out and ran to the green suitcase. "Excuse me, ma'am," Woody said to Jessie, "but I believe you're on the wrong flight." He grinned. Jessie's eyes lit up. "Woody!" she cried and hugged him. "Come on, Jess," said Woody. "It's time to take you home." Just then, the plane door shut. They were trapped. The plane started to move. They had to get off. They found a hatch and crawled down to the plane's wheels. It was hard to stay on and Woody slipped. Luckily, Jessie grabbed his arm in time. Woody's head flew off, but it was caught by Buzz. He and Bullseye were riding alongside the plane. Woody was so happy to see him. Then the cowboy came up with a daring plan. First, he told Buzz to get behind the plane's tires. Then Woody used his pull string as a lasso and looped the end of it around a bolt. "Jessie," he shouted, "let go of the plane!" "What? Are you crazy?" Jessie shouted back. But she trusted Woody, so she let go of the plane. Holding on to each other, the pair swung down and under the plane. Woody's pull string unhooked from the bolt. They dropped onto Bullseye's back behind Buzz. "Nice roping, cowboy," Buzz said to Woody. Jessie hugged Woody. That was definitely Woody's finest hour. Woody smiled and looked at his friends. "Let's go home." When Andy returned from cowboy camp, he was happy to see his toys. Jessie and Bullseye had joined the rest of the toys to welcome him home. "Oh wow, new toys," Andy said when he saw the cowgirl and the horse. "Thanks, Mom." Buzz looked at Woody and smiled. "You still worried?" he asked. "About Andy? No," he said. "It'll be fun while it lasts." If you liked this video, please leave a comment and don't forget to subscribe.